Ladies and gentlemen, Tua Tagovailoa has officially been released from the Miami Dolphins. He is going to be assigned a post-June cut. So post-June 1st, we will be cutting him, which means that instead of just paying the $99 million outright all at once, we are going to be splitting the $99 million over the course of the next 2 years, which will lower the dead cap hit that we have going into this year, because we do have a roster that we have to, construct. And we can't do that if we're paying $99 million to Tua right now. Immediately, what I will say about the Tua Tagovailoa era, it was very tumultuous. It was very frustrating. It was, for all intents and purposes, an era that's going to be unforgettable for many good reasons and many negative reasons. I believed in Tua throughout everything, but it wasn't until this year where it was very, very obvious that he was so clearly not the QB that we wanted, not the QB that we drafted back in 2020. It was so obvious. And it's a shame, because when we brought Tyreek Hill and Teron Armstead that offseason back in 2022, or 2021 rather, there was a lot of optimism. There was a lot of optimism heading into the year. There was a lot of optimism for the Dolphins in general. And that's something that we don't get very often. Positivity. Positivity regarding the Dolphins doesn't come very often because this organization just is not very good. And so the fact that we ended up getting Tyreek Hill, getting Tyron Armstead, getting Tua, and having him perform at the highest of levels with Mike McDaniel, it sucks that it didn't work out. But the writing was always on the wall. I want to shout out, ironically, to Stephen Ross. If there's one thing he is not, it's cheap. He is not a cheap owner, and he has thrown his money at most of the problems that the Miami Dolphins have had. But unfortunately, throwing money at the problem doesn't get rid of the problem. But it's a new era. This offseason kickstarted a new era, and it is exclusively Green Bay. I'll get to that in just a second. But before we do that, I want to discuss an interesting move that happened. So obviously, we all know that Tua Tagovailoa got released. The team that decided to pick him up, I don't know what to tell you. Let me tell you something. The Atlanta Falcons fans are not happy whatsoever with this move. I don't know if Tua is going to be a backup here or if he's going to compete for the starting job. But Atlanta, the way Atlanta has handled their QB situation, the QB situation has been utterly ridiculous. This move in general, I don't know what to think of it. It feels like Tua just doesn't fit the Atlanta landscape. It feels like he doesn't. And on top of that, they also have a left-handed, injury-prone QB. I don't know what the idea is for Kevin Stefanski, because I'm assuming he has his hands all over this. I don't know what the idea is for the Atlanta Falcons, but I just don't understand the move. I don't understand it, but he is cheap, so I guess, why not? I think any other team would have gotten a much lighter reaction, but given where Atlanta is right now as an organization, where they don't have a QB, they're kind of hesitant with their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, right? Just everything this organization is doing right now is a giant question mark. So, yeah, Atlanta, very interesting. A trade happened this past weekend. A trade happened as well. Minkah Fitzpatrick traded away to the New York Jets. Here's the report right here. It's a 2026 7th round pick, so another pick for the Miami Dolphins to use. I'll be honest, this definitely seems like the Dolphins just wanted to get rid of Minkah Fitzpatrick, completely go all in on the youth movement. This roster is going to need a lot of filling out, so now we're going to need a new safety. Since Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to be gone. The likelihood is that we're going to need some defensive linemen because Chubb is gone as well. We're going to need a lot. Let me tell you, we're going to need a lot on the defensive side of the ball. We need corners as well. I think safety becomes a priority, and since safety and in a mock draft that I did recently, which stay tuned next week, I will be doing a mock draft, so stay tuned for that. In my mock drafts, I will likely be picking heavy on secondary because we have none. We have none. Ashton Davis gone, Minka Fitzpatrick gone. We have no secondary to speak of, no cap space to sign any of the key pieces that we need in our secondary. So that kind of makes the next move that the Dolphins made very, very interesting. What's that move, you ask? Well, if you've been living under a rock, the Miami Dolphins have made the decision of finding their QB being Malik Willis. He gets a 3-year, $67.5 million deal, $45 million guaranteed. So this is our QB for the next couple of years. This is it. This is the guy. I'll be honest, I didn't think that we'd make a move like this. I thought we'd go in. We want to get younger and cheaper. He definitely is younger and cheaper, but he's also very inexperienced, and paying him $45 million guaranteed is interesting. I think it goes against what I thought the Miami Dolphins were going to do, which is like rebuild. The move is contrary to the full-scale rebuild that we all expected. And we thought the QB that we were going to get was going to be from next year's draft. Now, it could still happen. It can 1,000% still happen. But I will say paying him $45 million guaranteed is interesting. Now, granted, if you look at the contract of Malik Willis, if you look at it, and I will show you guys what I am talking about right now. You look at the contract of Malik Willis, and it's not a bad contract. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see what that says. That says $77 million in dead cap for 2028. So we have an out. We do have an out. I'll show you guys right here. This dead cap money hit right here is very important because the cap hit will be $29 million. Let's say we decided to cut Malik Willis, we would open up about $22 million in cap space. Ideal for the 2028 offseason if anybody's available that we want. I do think that the team is going to emphasize the draft more than they're going to emphasize free agency. I think they said it themselves. The draft is going to be the lifeblood. We want to acquire talent and keep the talent. That's what they've said. I don't think we're going to be going at free agency very often. I don't think we will. So Malik Willis asked for his career in general. Not much to write home about. He's made 6 career starts, 1,322 yards, 6 passing touchdowns, 10 touchdowns overall, and then 3 interceptions. I believe he has fumbled a couple times. I could be wrong. Yes, he has fumbled 7 times in his career. I don't know how many times he's lost those fumbles, but the point is that he has turned the ball over a good amount of time. This move is interesting, but I will say it does give fans something to be excited about heading into the next year. The Dolphins are going to have a brand new QB who can do things that Tua definitely could not do. I don't want him to be our QB for the future. I want to make that very clear. I don't think he's the QB for the future. I do think that we should move on from him in 2028 and crown our new QB. If the idea is to develop the QB that we bring in next year, I am 1,000% for this move. I guess my only concern would be the quality of talent that we do acquire at the QB position next year. Even though it's a very stacked QB class, I'm projecting that it's going to be a stacked QB class. I want the best QB possible. And Malik Willis, I think, hurts that because I do think he can make winning plays. And I do think this team is going to be a lot more competitive than people think it was going to be. But we'll see. I also thought the Malik Willis contract was going to be so much worse because they were discussing like $30 million a year. This ends up being less than that, like about $20 million average, and then $45 million guaranteed. It's cheaper than Tua, obviously. We're going to be paying those two for the next couple of years, and we're going to have to bite the bullet. We have no choice but to trust the brand new Green Bay regime that has taken over the Miami Dolphins. So Malik Willis, the backup at Green Bay, he is now our starting QB. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator at Green Bay, he is now our head coach. And then the assistant general manager at Green Bay, John Eric Sullivan, is now our general manager. Green Bay has taken over South Beach. And I cannot say that I'm upset about that, because the truth is that Green Bay is a winning organization. They are. And they have never had, unlike the Dolphins, they have never had questions at the QB position. Never. They haven't had questions about their QB positions in a very long time, before I was born, and maybe even before my dad was like in his 20s. Okay, this team is a very functional organization. They know how to develop QBs, and I'm glad that some of that experience, some of that prestige is coming to Miami, because Lord knows we need it. So I understand everybody's like, oh, it's just Green Bay, South Beach. Everybody's like that. Why would you be mad at that, considering the status, considering what the Miami Dolphins are, which is mediocre garbage, okay? We cannot be okay with that. Green Bay is not going to be okay with that ever in their franchise history. We now have guys from Green Bay coming here to fix that. I know it's definitely odd that all of Green Bay is coming to save South Beach, but let me tell you, I'll take it. I'll take it, because they haven't had QB problems like we have had. Okay, they've had their franchise QB for like the better part of 20 plus years. Okay, there's nothing to be concerned about. And then Jordan Love is their QB for the future. Aaron Rodgers was their QB. Brett Favre before that. These guys just know how to develop QBs, and for them to become the franchise QB later on. So I'm going to have to trust John Eric Sullivan. I'm going to have to trust Jeff Hafley. We have no choice but to trust this front office. And Miami's going to have to rely on the draft for most of the stuff this year. You're saying the draft is your lifeblood. I will be paying attention to each and every one of those picks from the 1st to the 7th. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that it all works out for us in the end.